Well, guys, it is 3 o'clock. And so I think it's time for us to go ahead and get started. I want to thank Scott for joining us as well. Thank you, Scott. We've got a few of our participants online with us. I know our speakers, Ryan, Eric, and Mike are here. We had a chance to connect before 3 o'clock. I see we've got one more joining us. So that's great. If you're comfortable, we could give about a minute or two to see if we get a couple more participants joining. Welcome, Paul. Thank you for joining us today. Hi, Scott.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Yeah, there was some odd email that went out that said canceled. I don't know why. We can't find that anywhere on Eventbrite. Sometimes these technology has a mind of its own. So we quickly tried to remedy it by letting people know it was never canceled. We never canceled it. So we're still trying to figure out what Eventbrite did on its own. But I think maybe if we want to wait one more minute, we'll see if we can get a couple more to join us, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
I haven't seen you for a while, Ryan. You've grown a little something, huh?
Yeah.
They must have upgraded.
Yes, I have.
The COVID
Scott's-
side effect, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
think so.
And Scott, he just lives out on that lake. I tell
Yep.
you, every time I see you out there, I want to come out to the boathouse in the
That's why I still
Caribbean.
got it on, yeah.
Very good.
I want to go where he is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, it's 3:02, so I think we'll go ahead and get started. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us for our first capacity building seminar. This is a member benefit from the Wright County Economic Development Partnership. We're trying to provide education and information regarding important topics that residents and business owners, property owners within Wright County will find of value. So today we've invited 3 panel experts to join us to talk about energy, sustainability, and efficiency programs. Our first guest speaker I would like to introduce is Eric Laumeyer. So Eric, if you would wave, let everybody know who you are. Eric Laumeyer is a senior account executive with Ameresco, a leading technology integrator of energy efficiency and renewable energy solutions. Eric leads Ameresco's Minnesota office and oversees all of the projects from initial conversations through construction completion. Eric utilizes Ameresco's experience and expertise to create solutions for his customers that will help meet their energy and sustainability goals. Eric is born and raised in Minnesota, currently resides in Stillwater. He enjoys golfing, fishing, and any outdoor adventure, and spends most of his time playing games with his 7-year-old daughter. So thank you, Eric, for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, and our second panel expert is Mike Meyers. Mike Meyers is a field representative with Meyers-Xcel Energy operating in our Minnesota service territory. Hi, Mike. For the last 8 years, he's a chemical engineer by education. Mike's role involves promotion of engagement and assistance with participation in the demand side management and the demand response or control programs to Xcel Energy's business commercial customers in this area. He is a part of a team of about 24 folks in the BCS DSM team. Can you tell me what those stand for, Mike?
Sure. Let's see, am I on mute? No.
Nope.
Yeah, a lot of acronyms. We could throw those out all day long in our line of work. But BSC is Business Solution Center. It's customer service arm of the company. And then DSM is Demand Side Management, which is concerned with energy efficiency and those things.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike.
Sure.
So he's a part of a team of 24 folks available to assist the mid-market customers in leveraging these programs. Mike's larger customers are served by dedicated account managers. His team serves all who do not have one of these assigned account managers. So kind of the specialty side. So thank you, Mike, for joining us today. And our last speaker is Ryan O'Connor. Ryan, if you want to give a wave. Ryan has been a key account executive at Wright Hennepin Electric since December of 2014. Ryan provides support to business members of all sizes that range from small home-based businesses to very large manufacturers. Part of Ryan's job is to help these businesses become more efficient when it comes to using energy. Ryan is also a board member of ours here at the Wright County Economic Development Partnership and has been for a number of years, and a board member of the Rockford Greenfield Area Chamber of Commerce. So welcome, Ryan, and thank you so much for bringing your expertise to us today.
Thanks.
Thank you. So I think what we're going to do, I see a couple more have joined us. Thank you, Steve and Mark, for joining us this afternoon. If you are comfortable and you want to turn on your cameras, you're certainly able to do so. If you're there in listening mode, we appreciate you being here. I have handed over controls to our experts, so I'm going to go ahead and let Eric take over from here. He'll start sharing his screen. He'll talk for about 10 to 15 minutes about the programs that Ameresco has. We will allow a couple of minutes for questions. We'll move on to Mike from Excel, who will talk about their programs for approximately 15 minutes. And then lastly, Ryan will present about Wright Hennepin Electric's programs. We should wrap it up before 4. And if you have any questions in the meantime, you can certainly put them in the chat box. We'll watch for those and we will ask the appropriate speaker. Thanks again. And Eric, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Perfect. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect. So, well, first, Julian, thank you so much for letting me present to the Wright County Economic Development Partnership. Ameresco is excited to be here, myself obviously included. And so I just wanted to spend 15 minutes is really going to be quick. So my goal of what today's meeting is going to be, I don't think many people probably know who Ameresco is. So I want to be able to quickly go through probably quite a few different slides. And there might be a lot of questions kind of coming out of it, but my goal is just to help people understand who Ameresco is, what we do, and how we can help different businesses throughout the Wright County Economic Development team. So Ameresco is a company that was founded back in 2000. We're a publicly traded company, so you can see us as AMRC on the New York Stock Exchange. And so what we do is we create energy efficiency and renewable energy projects. And we are a clean energy integrator for comprehensive services. And we do energy efficiency, infrastructure upgrades, asset sustainability, and renewable energy solutions. And our sustainability services includes different types of upgrades to facilities and energy infrastructure, and the development of construction and operation of renewable energy plants. Since we are an independent company, we are agnostic to different technology types, such as specific equipment and vendor agnostic, meaning we can utilize different local subcontractors as part of our construction process with your customers. And we look at and look for unique financing and funding options to create budget neutral solutions. And some of those budget neutral solutions include, but not limited to, things like power purchase agreements and off-balance sheet contracts, such as energy as a service. Through these unique financing mechanisms, we eliminate the financial barrier that is traditionally hampering energy efficiency and renewable energy projects. And so in coordination with some of your partners that we're here today, we utilize any available grants that we can find. We look at different types of utility rebates and incentives from the local, state, and even federal level. And what that does is it just helps pay for the project, and it helps reduce the total project cost. And so we think that's important when we start talking about sustainability and energy efficiency projects. And so Ameresco has the experience and expertise. We have about 1,000 employees, and the 1,000 employees is across the board in the United States. But we have 70 offices. We have a local office here in the Twin Cities. That's obviously where I'm located. Within the office here in the Twin Cities, it's in Eden Prairie. We have dedicated engineers, we have project managers, and we have different supporting staff to make your experience with Ameresco a successful one. And so that's just a little bit about Ameresco. I think some of the key projects or key industries that we sell to are the manufacturing and industrial sector, commercial. We also work with healthcare. One of our big projects here in the state was actually at the Minneapolis airport. I'll talk a little bit about that in our project highlights. We also work with local municipal governments, K-12 schools, colleges, and universities. So really we touch and work with many different customers throughout the United States or throughout Minnesota as well. Ameresco has been recognized in the industry as a leader in the advanced technologies space. And specifically, we outperform our competitors providing innovative strategies and executing on what we said we would do. So this is a slide that just utilizes that we work off of references. And so Ameresco wouldn't be in business today if we didn't have references and if we weren't recognized as a leader. And so this is just showing that we kind of back up the work that we say that we're going to do. So when it comes to advanced technology portfolio, Ameresco has basically everything from energy efficiency. We can develop projects on the distributed energy side, looking at renewable energy, storage, microgrids. And really what we do is we take a holistic perspective when it comes to designing and developing our projects. And first, we like to seek to understand the challenges and goals of our customer. As with any energy or sustainability goal, we really like to start looking at efficiency first, which leads to not oversizing and overpaying for renewable energy projects, solar being the big one. Simultaneously, or in conjunction with kind of looking at efficiency measures, we have analytics and supply management. What the analytics team is, we're providing real-time analysis for your building's performance, whether that's through building automation controls, IoT-based sensors, looking at installing real-time energy monitoring for key assets, and then utilizing a software platform that is designed to drive sustainability goals and focus your attention on the value of the assets that are delivered to those key stakeholders. And so our suite of services help drive organizational objectives into technical and financial decisions that assure your assets fulfill those required functions. Our supply management team serves as a customer by helping them formulate strategies around energy purchases, which help reduce the risk associated with those purchases. And we also look at strategy development to stabilize those budgets, help you understand the market intelligence, provide reporting and analytics, and also contract negotiations. So once we've that's kind of the initial phase, and we can do all of these at the same time, but that's just kind of phase one. We then start looking at how we look at distributed energy solutions. And that can be anything from solar to wind, battery storage, combined heat and power, microgrids, or even demand response, and providing a renewable source with appropriate software and services that will help is key to actually optimizing your assets. And so once we have those, we also have O&M strategy or O&M services group. This O&M services group maximize the assets that you would install at your organization, and it will minimize the facility's downtime. And some of those, again, we look at different types of reporting strategies, electrical testing of the solar PV systems. We do aerial thermal imaging, and we also do site maintenance and repair, like mowing the lawn around the solar panels. So I guess during a normal conference setting, what I would normally do is ask at this point, how many people would have a sustainability plan in place? And of those, how many have taken the initiative to put a roadmap together and take the initial steps to obtaining those goals? And so that's kind of where Ameresco can help build out that framework and build business cases that will ultimately lead to a cost-effective roadmap that optimizes or leverages the savings and funding mechanisms to achieve your goals. And so every customer is different, every industry is different, but what you're looking at here is kind of what we think are common challenges regardless of the industry. And a key component of it is, what parts of my organization would be affected by the loss of power? How would this loss of power affect your revenues, different outputs, or other KPIs that you have that are important to your organization? Can you readily equate those downtimes or those lost revenues to understand the need to invest in resilient technology? Looking at those microgrids, looking at battery storage, those types of things. And do you consider energy to be a fixed cost? Other things that are tied to energy are the aging infrastructure. Do you know how your infrastructure is aging? And do you know when those pieces of equipment need to be replaced? And how do those two correlate? And how, if you are going to replace a specific piece of equipment, can you bundle that equipment to help optimize your facility even further? And so those are the questions that Ameresco would like to help out with and start building these roadmaps. So this is kind of, we start with data. And kind of on your left-hand side, you can see that we have multiple different types of data sources that start building and developing these decision frameworks. And this helps with prioritizing and articulating different messages to the executive team. And we like to change the conversation of why we need a new boiler, as an example, compared to what is the risk to the organization. And so we kind of say we take it from boiler room to boardroom, and that's kind of our quote that we like to use amongst Ameresco people. So it's cliche, but you really can't manage what you don't measure. So this is the point of having an asset management system or an energy management system that has helped you build the database and then take the information from that and start developing these value propositions that are on your right-hand side here. And so how are those assets in your organization correlated to the energy and sustainability goals that you have? How does the maintenance and the operations affect total cost of ownership? And can you predict when that asset needs to be replaced? If yes, can you leverage those decisions in a bundled way to optimize the performance, leverage capital differently than you have in the past? Or, you know, what other types of scenarios can you build understanding this information to help you move forward with your initiatives? So this is just a example database that we have. I don't really want to spend too much time. I know we're quick on time and I'm already losing my time here. So, but what you would get is you have, you know, where are all your buildings? If you only have one building, that's completely fine. But you can look at different funding strategies, when your assets will be coming due, how many assets do you have and how many millions of dollars will you have to put into projects in the coming year. And we can go out 30 or even 50 years, depending on how long you want. You can even look at it for 3 or 5 years. So we have different ways of slicing and dicing the data. And so that's what this database will do for you. Excuse me. From there, we basically start creating a roadmap, which we like to call capital creation strategies. And this is where we go back to those advanced technologies, looking at those energy efficiency measures from LED retrofits to doing more of the distributed generation to building out solar and battery storage, where Ameresco will start designing and developing those renewable projects, looking at different funding options and bundling those different initiatives together. So that's we really have 16 different types of capital creation strategies, from O&M to capital program management, talking about those bundling and sequencing of projects. And we can even look at different real estate strategies. Again, if you have multiple places, can you sell a piece of real estate to help leverage a future project that you might have, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of workshop environments that we use to help drive conversations, and we really want to become, say, a trusted advisor of your organization to make these decisions along with you. So I'm going to get into some project highlights. The first one is the Metropolitan Airport Commission. Ameresco had a 2-phase project. So if you guys ever go to the Minneapolis airport, in the blue and red ramps in Terminal 1 and then the purple ramp in Terminal 2, on the 8th level, I believe it's the 8th level, and you look up and you see the solar panels, that was one of Ameresco's projects. And so the 2-phase project was, the first phase was a 3 megawatt solar PV on top of the parking ramps. Second phase was in the purple ramp at Terminal 2, was 1.3 megawatts. And of the two was about 4.3 megawatts. We've done about 20% of the total airport's energy needs, and that gets them a lot closer to their 2030 sustainability goals. On top of that, we replaced 13,000 light fixtures with LED technology, and then the energy savings from that project helped pay for it over a period of time. So meaning the savings were higher than the cost of the project. Overall, that project saved about $267,000 annually, and we've helped reduce the carbon impact by about 9,500 metric tons. There's a BMW plant project. I thought this was a good project to highlight. It's the busiest BMW plant that BMW has in the world. It's in South Carolina. And what they wanted Ameresco to do is bring landfill gas to the plant. And the project entailed the development, engineering, construction, and operation of a landfill gas pipeline, and then retrofitted that to the existing energy center that they had. BMW had, I believe, 4 1-megawatt gas turbines. And what they wanted us to do is recycle those turbines by putting them into service using that landfill gas. And so that's what we did. And so that project generates electricity and hot water. And now BMW purchases the equivalent of basically 4,000 CFM of landfill gas to use in those turbines. And then finally, I'm going really quick here, but I just know that we're trying to be cognizant of time too. So we also did a big project down at the Minnesota State University in Mankato. And quick highlights is overall, we saved them 5.9 million kWh annually of energy, which is about 4,100 tons of carbon reduction. And so that equates to about $400,000 in energy savings. We helped, along with this, we got about $500,000 in rebates incentives, which really helped drive the overall project for Mankato State. So we're really excited about this project as well, or we were excited about this project. So again, I went through a lot of information, and hopefully it was beneficial, but kind of, where do you start and where do we go from here? Again, and I hope I made it clear, is that Ameresco as a whole likes to be a trusted advisor. So whether you work with Ameresco or any of your other partners, we think it's good to find that partner. A lot of these projects are complicated and not one size fits all. And so I think there's many different potential pathways to develop these projects. And where Ameresco comes in is we can, start, we call it an infrastructure modernization study. And then once we have that study completed, then we can move forward with the implementation of a project, different design build pathways. And then we can start looking at different funding solutions and contract procurement pathways that you might have. Public companies are different than private companies. We have the ability to actually build and own different types of assets. We can build and own a solar project and then sell you the energy back under a long-term contract. There's opportunities that you might want to own the asset, and then we can look at different funding strategies to bring in low-cost financing. So there's a wide spectrum of opportunities here, and what's the best fit for your organization? Where are you within, say, the debt cycle of your organization? Looking at capital planning, operations, maintenance, so on and so forth. And then finally, just like, how comfortable are you with the technology and taking that risk? And that's, again, where Ameresco can come in and have a lot of different engagement with you to help you out. So I think, why Ameresco, again, we're innovative, we have the expertise, and we're independent, and ultimately we just want to give back to the communities. We are passionate about the environment and looking at renewable energy sources, and that's really what we're trying to do on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you so much, Eric. I think you did a fantastic job. I really appreciate your ability to get all this information into a much shorter period of time than you're usually used to presenting. So I thank you for that. I see we've got a comment that we've got an impressed attendee. So it seems like your information is resonating well with our group. I just want to make sure that, if I don't know how we're distributing contact information, but I did, usually our first engagement would be 30 minutes to an hour, and it's a lot. Again, we're trying to just collaborate with our customers. So if anyone has questions and want to learn more about Ameresco, you can obviously go to our website, which is just ameresco.com, or if we can share my contact information, please reach out, and would love to set up a call with you guys. Absolutely. Thank you, Eric. At the end of our, you want to go ahead and take it over?
You bet. Sounds good. Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to connect with customers and talk about the possibility of engagement in our demand side management programs. Xcel Energy, I think probably most of y'all are familiar with us. We're a large investor-owned utility. We serve 7 states, Minnesota primary among them. I work in the Minnesota service territory as a field representative. Initially in my charter, so you work somewhat compartmentalized here in Excel. You know, my focus is on the demand side management end of things. So it's looking at what's going on at our customers' side of the meter, and in particular, helping engage in participation and administration of our energy efficiency program. So helping our customers participate in these programs. You know, we have, I don't know if we're exclusively business here or if there's both business and residential folks, and maybe some of both. You know, I mean, I'm maybe a business and a residential customer myself of Xcel Energy. But we have different programs that serve those different areas, and my focus is specifically business. So, you know, I would invite anybody who's interested in residential information to check our website for those things, as the programs are different there. The purpose of our energy efficiency programs really is to provide information and incentives to customers to help move forward with implementation of efficiency projects. So we're kind of intending to influence a purchase decision in some way by participating in the process by having you work with us around energy efficiency. So some people wonder, why do we as a utility want to have folks use less of what we sell? You know, it's a legitimate question, because we obviously make money selling power, but it's important to us from a number of perspectives. Really, it helps us most effectively and efficiently use our generating assets and our resources. It helps us plan intelligently for expansion and for future resource investment. So to the extent that we have our finger on the pulse of what people are doing to influence the demand, their usage of power, that's a benefit to us and then to all of the ratepayers in kind. So I think with this, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here with an overview of our energy solutions. So these are, can everybody see this okay? You able to see, Jill? Okay, thank you. And I get it's probably small print.
It is a little small.
small.
If you
Right,
can
you know
zoom
what,
it in
let
a
me-
little bit, that might help. Otherwise, we can make this information available for
Sure,
afterward.
no, I can do that. Give me just a quick second here and I'll figure this out. Is that better?
Definitely better.
Okay, thank you. Let me get back up to the top here. All right, there we go. So energy solutions, this is a list of all of our programs. It's an overview, a program summary. And there's probably about 100 individual items, that we'll try to touch on every one of them. No, I'm just joking. We don't have time to do that. We can speak to some of the most commonly used programs in our offering, where we see most people have interest in, most projects that we work with customers together in. But we'll kind of touch on a few of them here in sequence. So I would invite anybody interested, obviously, if there's some questions and you have a detailed question, a specific question about one of our programs or how to go about talking with us further, we'd invite you always to get in touch. I'm part of a team of about 24 people, as I said, or as Jolene had indicated. And we are all invested in helping customers in demand side management. So we have lots of resources that can help you navigate through these programs and participate in them. You don't have to be an expert. It's what you're paying us, and you're part of your rates go to funding these programs in our salaries. So we are, we're happy to work with you and help you get some of your money back that you spend in, in conservation and your rates. So to start, we've got audits, energy audits, studies and holistic programs here. This is really kind of where people will start if you don't have an idea. for energy conservation opportunities in your facility. You want some help identifying those. You know, we kind of start early in the process. Say the best place to begin with energy efficiency is when you're building a building. So this is something I always like to highlight. You know, we've got a couple of holistic new construction and major renovation programs that we offer, depending on the size of the project. But these are designed to capture all rebatable efficiency measures that are built into a design. And the services really provide incentive, you know, that's based on the options that are identified, and we help identify options, you know, opportunities, I should say, to build efficient systems and equipment into these projects. So this is, you know, it is a great area to engage if you're in the market for a new building. If you're building or renovating your existing facility and you need some help, we would love to participate with you in one of those programs. Further down here, we have, you know, I'm scrolling through a lot of this. There, we can definitely go into more detail, and it's part of what I do is consult with customers and discuss your needs to help you fit into a program offering. So that's, you know, something that sometimes is not real easy to navigate because there's such a variety of opportunities. You know, it's not always obvious which one is the best fit for you. So that's what me and my team are intended also to help you with. So fluid system optimization is another one that's very popular. It's a fancy word for compressed air. So compressed air systems are inherently inefficient. It's very expensive to make compressed air. And so there's always opportunity, or generally lots of opportunity for energy savings in those systems, in designing them, redesigning them, updating and upgrading them. So that's an area we see a lot of people participate. Heating efficiency is another, where we talk about HVAC systems in buildings. You know, energy is consumed there in cooling and heating. It's one of the major areas that we find, you know, in every building type of system. Those systems there have a lot of potential for energy efficiency improvement. So we have quite a lot of participation in heating efficiency. Steam traps is audits, you know, a big part of that. Any steam systems, they require regular maintenance and regular attention, and there can be a great deal of efficiency opportunity in making sure those systems are properly tuned. Let's see, I'm just scrolling down again here very quickly, and anybody who has a question, pipe up. I think we've got a small enough group of folks where, you know, I don't think it's a problem if you just jump in, unmute yourself if you can, and or type something in chat, and maybe Jolene will let me know if you're asking a question as I'm going through this. But happy to address anything. If you want to speak to one of these things I'm scrolling through, I'm glad to do so. Another audit that we offer that's very popular is called turnkey. So it's a turnkey is an ASHRAE level 1 assessment, which is sort of a high level energy audit that is performed, that's intended to identify opportunities in HVAC and in lighting, sort of facility infrastructure for energy improvement. So low hanging fruit is sort of the target there. As if you're not certain kind of what opportunities might exist in your facility, this is a great start, a great starting point. We find, again, a lot of our customers like to participate in this. I would say that if you would consider a turnkey audit, you might want to speak with one of my colleagues or myself first. We can chat about, you know, have kind of a virtual audit these days. Most of what we do is virtual, it seems, till things return to normal. Hopefully, eventually they will. But we can speak with you to determine whether or not a turnkey audit would be useful for you ahead of signing up. Then we get into from the audits and the studies, we get into equipment rebates. So these are for specific equipment areas in the facility. And again, wherever there are motors spinning or lights essentially burning, those, are areas where efficiency can be realized either through technology upgrades or controls. So cooling efficiency, certainly, air conditioning is a big one. We have a lot of folks participating in these programs for high efficiency cooling systems. This is when your existing air conditioning system goes out, you need to look at a new one. That's the time to consider upgrades in efficiency and to look at options there. And we can help you, give you some information as to what the rebate would be to move that next notch up in efficiency. Custom efficiency is the next. I guess these things are kind of in alphabetical order. That's a good thing. The custom efficiency is really a program that's a catch-all. Anything that we don't prescriptively rebate, so that anything that we don't see kind of in a cookie cutter fashion time and time again, can be evaluated under a custom efficiency program, which is essentially one-off analysis of a project specific to your certain set of circumstances. So we see these often in industrial or large manufacturing facilities with process equipment. Any kind of productivity improvements that might be available or come from new technology that allows you to make more items in any given amount of time or per unit of energy. Those types of projects can be evaluated and rebated through our custom efficiency program. So one of the caveats of engagement in custom efficiency is that we need to make sure that we deploy with you, that we consult with you before purchase is made, so that we can define the rebate amount and then have some claim to influence with the rebate offered. So this is the one program really that requires, that requires advanced notice to participate before you purchase. And most of the other programs allow you to make a purchase first, and you can look actually up what the rebate would be based on the application form that's on the internet. So there's a couple of different paths there. Let's see.
Hey, Mike, I just want to interrupt you for 1 second.
Please
We've
do.
got about 2 more minutes for you to kind of wrap up on your projects. I know the time goes really fast and you've got so much to offer. So I just want to give you a little time warning, and then I'll go ahead and let you wrap up.
All right, that's great. Thanks a lot, Jolene, for that. I'm almost done here. I think we talk about fluid systems. That's again, compressed air as a major area of interest. Heating efficiency in areas where we supply both electric and gas. We can work with customers in those areas. Lighting is the biggest. Everybody knows about LED lighting and how those, if you haven't made that conversion yet to LED, either a retrofit or in the new construction, we love to work with people to incent those. It can be a very fast, simple payback. Motors and drives, is another one where you can control it, slow it down or stop it, rather than having it run all the time. There's energy savings there. So in the last minute, I'm going to scroll down right to the end here and talk a little bit about some of the rate savings in renewable energy. We didn't touch much on that. Might be certainly on top of mind for a lot of people. We have a lot of new programs and offerings, in these areas, and we call demand response and demand control, which are going to help us leverage the renewable assets that are on the grid these days. That when the sun goes behind a cloud and when the wind doesn't blow, why we have to make some changes, in the demand so that we can meet the need for power and balance the grid. So that requires participation in new ways with our customers, and we call demand response and demand control, where we can work with you to essentially shed load during periods of strain on the grid. So anyhow, long story short, we got a lot of programs, we have a lot of resources, available to help you. And I would just invite you to check the website and or give our team a call or get in touch with me if you have any questions specific or if you need some help looking at our opportunities there.
Thank you so much, Mike. This was extremely informative. It's great to see how many different programs you have available and your willingness to help out at all different levels, residential, industrial, small business, whatever it may be. Thanks again, Mike.
Sure.
And again, his contact information will be available at the end of our presentation. A recording of this will be available to our attendees to share or to review. And quickly, let's hand it over to Ryan, Wright Hennepin Electric. It's 3:41. You've got about 15 minutes, and then we'll have 5 minutes at the end for some wrap up and a couple of questions. So Ryan, I'll hand it over to you. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Jolene. So first off, I'm going to briefly, you can see on this first slide here, we have a large service area in Hennepin and Wright counties. We go from Clearwater all the way down to Maple Grove, Plymouth area, all the way back out to Cokato. So those are the general areas of where we're servicing our businesses. And today I'm going to talk briefly about our conservation improvement program rebates. Those include lighting retrofits, rooftop units, economizers, variable speed drives, also our custom rebates. I'll talk a little bit about facility energy audits and our renewable choice option. So first off, our lighting retrofit, this is our 2021 commercial retrofit lighting rebate form. It's pretty simple. You basically plug in what your present lighting type is, number of fixtures, how much wattage that draws, estimated annual operating hours, and then what you're going to replace it with on the LED side. And what this does, it's going to calculate exactly what your total estimated annual energy savings are going to be in kilowatt hours. And then it will also, at the very bottom, you'll see total estimated rebate incentive. It's going to populate what that rebate amount is going to be. And essentially what it is 4.3 cents per kWh saved annually is what your rebate ends up being. This form can be found on our website under the business section, or you'll have my contact info. You can email me for any of these forms for rebates. Next one, we'll talk about rooftop unit economizers. We use a matrix for this. So you just basically, you'll see the unit size by tonnage. You'll find what your tonnage is going to be, and then what the SEER or EER range is going to be on the new unit that you're going to install. Then you simply just go find in the matrix what your rebate amount will be. So that's what we do for our rooftop units. If there is an economizer as well with the unit, that does add a little bit more. That I would check with Great River Energy on. So once you tell me, give me the info, I can get you a little better idea of what the additional rebate amount would be. Let's talk about variable speed drives. This is going to be 4 cents per kilowatt hour saved annually. The basic information we need is the application, what it's going to be for, how many annual operating hours it's being used, the horsepower. We also need to know the motor efficiency, and it ends up coming, we populate a kilowatt hour savings report. So you're not going to be able to figure out what the savings are going to be right away, but we look into it and then we get back to you, let you know what you can expect to save, what the rebate amount is going to be. And then we also do custom projects. So basically anything that's going to save kilowatt hours for your business. We just basically need an explanation of the calculated annual kWh savings. That get multiplied by 4 cents per kilowatt again, and kilowatt hour, and we get your amount. So that can be literally for any type of project, and we do need to get pre-approval before you move on with your project. For facility energy audits, we will help cover up to 50% of the total cost. That is up to $5,000. And that can be for compressors, full building energy audits. It can be really anything tailored to what your needs are. And we also have something that we offer to businesses. It's our renewable choice. So Wright Hennepin Electric will secure renewable energy credits to cover members' requested REC purchase. It's a monthly flat fee of $1 per REC or 1,000 kilowatt hours. This fee is in addition to monthly energy charges. A lot of people ask, why do you buy these RECs? Some businesses have to achieve certain emissions goals. It helps promote commitment to renewables. Also supports the renewable energy market. And a lot of times building or owning on-site generation is not a viable option for businesses. So this is something that we do offer. And we do have some businesses that buy these RECs. And then here's me and Bob Miller. We're the two key account executives at Wright Hennepin. This is our contact information. So should you have any questions or need these rebate applications, feel free to get in touch with us. Mine was a little bit quicker, Jolene, so I saved us on a little bit of time, but
That's fantastic.
that's all.
You did a great job. Yes, thank you. Ryan, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Nope,
Good.
that's all I had.
Okay, fantastic. That is really great. Great information. And here I'm going to go ahead and put us back on a gallery view, and then I'm going to share my screen quickly with your guys' contact information. Let me pull this over here, and hopefully that's going to fit in here. Let me make it a little bit smaller. All right, does that work for everyone? Can you see that?
It's pretty small.
It's too small? Okay, hold on a
I
second.
don't know if you can zoom in.
Is that better? Is that still small, or is that readable? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't read it personally, but that's
Can't read it. Okay.
A little bit small yet, Jolene.
I feel like it's bigger than my screen will show, so I'm not sure if that's going to work. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to email this out to all of our participants. So I'll send an email out after the event. It will have all this information readily available. I did have a question that I wanted to ask our panelists before we wrap up. One of the questions that occurred to me during the presentation is, if you were a resident of Wright County, or you owned a small business or owned a property within Wright County, and you were interested in having more efficiency and more sustainability in your energy usage, what would be your first step? Would it be, Ryan, would it be determining who your energy user provider is, and that would help determine what the next steps are? Ryan, how would you answer that?
Yep. So for Wright County, you're either going to be Wright Hennepin Electric, Xcel Energy, or one of the city municipals like the city of Buffalo or city of Delano. They have their own municipals. So you're going to fall into one of those categories. So you should get a bill every month, so you should know who your electric provider is. So that's really the first step, making sure you know who that is. On the residential side, we do offer energy use consultants. We have 3 of those working at Wright Hennepin. They'll come out to your home and do an analysis on your home to determine where you can save energy. So that's what we offer for on the residential side. And then obviously it's me and Bob Miller are the key accounts where we deal with the businesses and handle that side.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ryan. That's helpful for people who are just kind of hearing about this for the first time or trying to decide what the next steps would be. Mike, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about the lighting programs that you have available. I know you mentioned that in almost every case, having LED lighting is going to improve your efficiency. And can you talk a little bit more about how those programs work? Do people have to go buy the LED lights first out of their pocket, and then Xcel Energy helps them with that? Or how can Xcel help if somebody really wants to just upgrade their lighting to a LED?
Sure, lots of different ways to go about it. We're happy to engage, early in the process. If you're wondering what type of technology is best for your facility or operation, we're not lighting experts per se. We're generalists, but we have a great deal of experience and and knowledge there as to what some of the common applications and solutions are. So yeah, the best, I think the best guidance is to get in touch with one of us. If you're contemplating a lighting upgrade, we're probably going to more eventually get you in touch with a lighting vendor, a qualified person to go into a deep dive, but we can sure get the conversation started. And yeah, I mean, long story short is if you haven't made that transition from fluorescent to lighting to LED, the payback on those types of projects can be very, very fast. So it's just a matter of if you're running your lights, if they're on, it's something that you should be looking at. And again, the financials are quite compelling for those projects today.
Super. Thank you, Mike, for that. Eric, I've got a question for you too as we wrap up. I know that you had mentioned opportunities that Ameresco can help support in the actual financing of big projects for sustainability or through these audits. I know that you're a large company and you deal with some pretty big projects like the examples that you showed. Can you talk a little bit about how Ameresco helps with financing and what that might look like to one of the people on the call today?
Yeah, sure. So one of the ways that we help with financing is that once we develop a project and we understand the total cost of it, we have a pool of different types of banking institutions that we can work with to help. What is your debt capacity? What is your risk appetite for actually looking for financing? There's also a lot of different other options such as CPACE, which is Clean Property Access to Clean Energy, which is basically an assessment on your property, but it stays on your property, and then you can leverage the energy savings to help finance different projects. Right now, cost of capital and looking at bank institutions are really cheap. And as we continue to move up forward in 2021, those interest rates are potentially going to continue to rise. So right now is actually a good time to do that. And then, if you're looking at opportunities and you don't have cost of capital, you can't really finance opportunities, and you want to take the risk away from looking at some of these bigger projects, such as solar or battery storage, or looking at resilient options. Ameresco has the ability to design and build, own and operate and maintain these projects. And so what we would do is we would build out these assets, and then we would sell the energy back to the customer. So there's a lot of different opportunities that we can do if financing or different funding strategies fall short. So we have a lot of flexibility there.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Eric. That's great information. It looks like I asked a question that one of our attendees was going to ask, so I'm glad I could help with that, Amanda. Is there anyone else here in our Zoom that has a question that they'd like to ask of our experts before we wrap things up this afternoon? Well, I am certainly glad that everybody did join us. I know that it's a gloomy, rainy afternoon, but hopefully I captured your attention for this time. It was great for us to get together and connect with Mike and Ryan and Eric, and knowing that there are conscientious organizations in Wright County that care about the future energy usage in our state and in our county and our region, that we want to be good stewards of the utilities and of the opportunities that we have right here in Wright County. So it's important to all of us that we are using the amount of energy that we need to use and no more, that we're paying for the amount of energy that we need to use and no more, and that we're thoughtful in how we use it. So again, I'll send an email out to everybody this afternoon with the contact information of our panelists. We will be having another event on April 14th. Let's see if I've got this one pulled up. I don't know if you guys can see this any better than the last one. Maybe if I zoom it in a little more, let me see. Let me pull this bar down and I'm going to do this. Can you guys see this?
Yep.
Maybe that one's a little better. Our next event is on April 14th. That's a month from today. It is going to be on creating a better visual experience for pedestrian retail in our communities here in Wright County. We're going to have an expert who has done studies in the skyways in Minneapolis, and he's done other pedestrian experience studies throughout the region, talking about what different small businesses and downtowns can do to improve that experience for customers and to help grow our community's business sector. So again, that'll be on April 14th, a month from today. It's free. It's from 3 to 4. If you want to share this information, it'll be part of the email. And other than that, I think we can kind of wrap it up with 5 minutes to spare at the end. Unless anybody else has any last minute comments, I mean, I could certainly give you each another minute if you want to share anything else. Go ahead and let me know. And going once, going twice. Then I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, you guys. Thank you again so much. Thank you to our attendees and to our experts, and we'll all be in touch again soon.
Thank you,
Thanks for
everyone.
having us, Jolene.
All
Thanks,
right,
everybody.
we'll see ya. Thank
Good
you.
luck.